PhD architect, researcher, and editor. Co-founder of IMAIO, an architectural office that works on flexible systems, where notions such as aspects, variation, ephemeral or ad hoc, permanent theoretical positions materialize. She's currently in charge of running the magazine Quaderns of Architecture and Urbanism, and teaching at Barcelona School of Architecture and Massana School of Design in Barcelona.
Quaderns Architecture and Urbanism is a unique architecture and urban design magazine which is foreseen as a journal of sorts, a space for jotting down unfinished matters, past events and experiences, and random thoughts. The goal of the magazine is to vindicate narrative forms that create meaning. In order to do this, the magazine is put together by tearing out to edit. Another tactic used is placing things together to create new meanings and situations that transcend formal, visual, or stylistic exercises. According to Anna, there is no sense to be found in dual oppositions, only in multiple superpositions. In our opinion, we think structuring a magazine in this manner allows for an interesting approach to presenting new ideas. By looking at topics temporally, you can collage them together, forming a neutrality between past, present, and future ideas. Also, by not taking an opposing position, the magazine becomes a generator of questions, not standpoints. It's a continuous, open-ended conversation. Quaderns issue 261 is titled After Party. It talks about the possibilities for architecture after an era of productive and ensuing recession. 1993 is referenced in this issue. During this year, significant events took place which affected the European and American economies. Because of these events, we changed the logic by which we approach architectural design. Architects were still designing, but the limited resources affected the design process and outcome.
Glorious Catalunya, first designed by Adolfo Seda to serve as the city center in his original urban plan, but nowadays relegated to quite a secondary position. Currently, it serves largely as a roundabout of elevated highways. However, beginning in the early 2000s, and as of 2007, revamping projects for Glorious has started, which is aimed to give the square a new role in Barcelona and revitalize the north district of the city. If we take the famous Plan Seda as well as the Gloria as an example of public projects proposed in the area of protective bond, then what happened to Glorias after 2000 may be under the logic of design after crisis. The long neglected space after the party can be a great opportunity of reinterpretation. The juxtaposition of different temporal strata could be a historical and theoretical reference of the city development.
In the present day, a turning point is occurring. The Greek economy is in debt to other countries in the European Union, and now it is time for architects to rethink their approach to design. Issue 263 focuses on the topic of preservation, where 1956 is the reference year. In 1956, Brazil underwent a drastic change when it constructed its modern capital of Brasilia. Brasilia was chosen as a UNESCO World Heritage Site due to its modernist architecture and uniquely artistic urban planning. It was the first time a modern urban project is preserved in its entirety, which raised the question of what to preserve and what to get rid of.
Who has said that the interval between the present and what was preserved is diminishing. In 1818, we preserved what was built 2,000 years ago, and in 1960s, it becomes what was built 20 years ago, just like the case of preservation of Brasilia City.
Quaderns issue 262 tries to formulate a rethink of the model of infrastructure. The year 1971 is taken as a reference year, where so many experimental practices reclaimed the possibility of an instant, flexible infrastructure for the new city.
Power can be read as analogs or parallel to, but separate from or going beyond what is denoted by the road wall. So power infrastructure could be described as parallel to the sphere of mainstream institution. It explores immutable, fleeting, inflatable aspects of infrastructure, while at the same time, such viewpoints reinforce the fact that infrastructure remains something immutable, outside of critical inquiry, at the center.
Another meaning of the prefix para, to make ready, prepare, defend from, forms words with the sense protection from. Not very dissimilar from how a parasol or an umbrella protects us from the sun and the rain, a para infrastructure in this respect could be the spatial strategy that protects us from the dominant discourse on infrastructure or some infrastructuralism.
The latest magazine deals with the topic of the house and contradictions, and begins with a critique to complexity and contradiction in architecture by Venturi, saying that there's an absence of political impact in Venturi's argument. The writer brings up the discussion of domesticity as a way to relink macroeconomy with the micro one, trying to take politics back into discussion.
The year 1976 is taken as a reference year because many experimental houses or housing projects were finished at that time. Once again, these articles are editorials at the very beginning of a magazine. They raise questions and open up conversations, but none of them have a personal position in these debates or discussions. None of them take a side. There is no sense to be found in dual oppositions, only in multiple superpositions.